Hey YouTube, how's it going? So today is December 4th, Saturday, and it's another race day. We're doing a 15K out in Central Park. So that's I think that's a loop and a half around the outer loop. Also, the course itself, for those of you that don't know Central Park, is on the north side of the park. There are these hills called the Harlem Hills, and they can be a little bit rough. On a completely flat course, I would target around a 6:08 to 6:10 per mile pace for the 9 mile race. Cause of the hills, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of cushion. We're gonna call it 6:12 is my B goal. My A goal is to still go under 6:10. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Training has been going good. I feel good. I feel fit. No injuries. I've been tapering this week, so I think, normally I average around 35 to 40 miles a week. I think this week I've only done around 20. Yeah, 20 miles. So maybe a little bit too much of a taper. Anyway, so we're gonna go in the time machine, take you guys back to last night, where I'm gonna show you what's in my race bag. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm taking with me in my race bag. Honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of going to a race, is packing the bag. So tomorrow the forecast is around 40 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy with very little wind. So I'm bringing two pairs of gloves. This pair, the Gore Infinium, is a little bit lighter. It's supposed to be windproof, but because there's no insulation, right around 40 degrees is when it's not quite enough. So I'm bringing a thicker pair with me just in case, and it'll be a game time decision as to which one I wear for the race. This is the Gore Windstopper jacket. I don't plan on wearing this during the race, but I'm gonna wear it before and after and during my warm up, and then I'll check it with the bag. This jacket is completely windproof, and there's a little bit of insulation, but it's a really good running jacket for like a regular, long run in the winter, or any kind of run in the winter, but probably a little bit too much for a race. So not planning on wearing that during the race. I have 4 shirts here, which might be a little bit overkill, but let me explain. The last shirt is the shirt that I'll be changing into when the race is over. Since I'll be drenched in sweat and it'll be cold, I don't want to wear that shirt, while I'm warming down or going back to the car. So plan is changing to dry shirt. This white shirt is a compression shirt that'll be the base layer. And then I have a long sleeve and a short sleeve. And depending on how sunny it is and how warm it is at the start line, I haven't decided whether to wear the long sleeve or the short sleeve on top of the base layer. I have 2 headbands, and that's the same reason I have 4 shirts. I'm gonna wear this one for the race, which was a little bit lighter weight, but since it'll be drenched in sweat when I'm done, the plan is to change into this after I'm done. I have a pair of Gore tights. These are long, full-length Gore tights, and there's pockets for your gels, so I plan on bringing a couple of gels with me as well. Speaking of gels, so I try to run on an empty stomach typically, but because it's a longer race, it'll be 9.3 miles. I'm gonna take one right before the race starts, and then bring one with me. I think one gel should be enough. Right around mile 6, maybe mile 7, I'll take another gel, and I think that should be plenty to get me through the 15K. I got my heart rate monitor, Gooder sunglasses. If it turns out to be really cloudy, I won't wear them, but I'm gonna bring them just in case. A mask to wear before and after the race. A neck gaiter. So these socks are the Balega running socks. BLE, Balega. Yeah, I think you can buy these at REI or on Amazon. But they're supposed to be like blister resistant, or help with blisters. I don't have an issue with blisters, but for longer races, I tend to go with more padding on the socks, and these are more padding. And because it'll be cold, I figure the thickness would help as well. I got the sunblock in case it's really sunny. Got the Amp Human bicarb lotion. I'm still not convinced this works, but I have a whole thing of it, so I'm just gonna bring it with me and use it. Finally, my Hoka Carbon X carbon plated shoes. These have about 100 miles on them, which is not a lot for a regular pair of shoes, but for a racing shoe, I think it's towards the end of its life. It's been 2 years of racing and some workouts. So I think this will be the last race in these pair of shoes. Plan is to get a pair of Vaporflies next as my next pair of racing shoes, but we'll see. So yeah, so this is what I'm bringing to the race. I'll see you guys there in a little bit. And we're back. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So it's 5:45 right now. I've eaten breakfast, which was half a bagel with peanut butter. I usually keep it pretty light. Like I mentioned last night, I generally prefer to run on an empty stomach. Normally I wouldn't even eat, but 8:30, you know, I woke up at 5. 3 hours is a long time. You know, I probably could do it, but I'll be starving by the time I get on the start line. So I don't want to be starving. Ate something light. We'll take a gel right before the race starts, and hopefully that works out. So the plan is to, you know, get dressed, roll out on the foam roller, and then head out at around 6:30. Give myself plenty of time to get into the city, find parking, walk into the park or jog into the park, get my bib and get set up. But I'll see you guys out there. Is that better? It's still pretty dark out here. The sun is just coming up, but you know, I would think within 10-15 minutes it'll be nice and bright out. It's a little cloudy, but I do see some blue skies, so hopefully it's a sunny day. 30 minutes into the city, we'll see you guys there. Key the time lapse. We made it to the city. I wasn't able to find street parking, so I just put it in the lot. My inspection has expired anyway, so I guess avoid a ticket either way. So we are at the park. We're gonna walk in, get checked in, and then start our warm-up. It is 7:23. And I was getting a little worried driving. I looked for street parking for like 20 minutes. I was getting worried that it's getting a little late. So here we go. Let's do this. All right, guys, we are all checked in. Got my number, the chip in the back. The swag today is a beanie. So we are gonna get this pinned, hit the porta potty, and then do a little warm up. All right, so this is the start line. I think I'm in the A corral. There's a double A corral, so I wonder how fast those guys are. I think it goes, I can see down to F. Maybe there's more, so I guess it's gonna be a pretty big race. I haven't checked my, it's hard to warm up with my bag, but I don't want to check it until the end because it's cold. So I don't know if I'm gonna get any running footage. And it's kind of crowded and I feel a little bit self-conscious walking around talking to a camera. So I think I'm just gonna put the camera away and just warm up off camera. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. All right, we just finished the race. Ended up running a pretty good time. 56 flat. I think it was 5:56 pace per mile over 9 miles. So I'm very happy with that result. The race was tough. I went out like 5:45, and the course was just rolling. We didn't have to do Harlem Hills. We turned early. But it was still pretty hard. The last 5K, I was really starting to struggle. But I was running with this pack. We were kind of rotating turns, so that took the edge off because you could kind of just sit behind someone and not think too much. The last mile from mile 8 to mile 9 felt like a 10K in itself. Just the mile marker wouldn't come, but we made it. Not too worse for wear. Now we're gonna go get the car and head home. And see you guys later. Hey everyone, so I thought I'd just do a quick race recap video. So here's my Strava page. The New York Roadrunner Chip had me going a little slower at 6:01, but I'm going with the GPS, so I'm going with 5:56 per mile over 9.4 miles. So originally I had told you guys we had to run Harlem Hills, but that turned out not to be the case. So a little, and I didn't realize this until the race when we hung a left here instead of running up here, and I was so relieved, to be honest, because I did not like running Harlem Hills. Anyway, so here you can see the elevation profile. Because Harlem Hill is not there, there's no kind of massive climb, but it is constantly rolling. As you can see, there's basically no flat spots in the whole course. As you saw in the video, I think there was up to L corral, so there was a ton of people. Luckily, I was in the A corral, the second closest corral to the front. There was a double A corral, which I guess had the elite runners. First mile went out in, I guess, 5:51, but the grade adjusted pace is 5:36 because for the most part it's all uphill. I didn't feel the hills. It was, the adrenaline was going. Actually, let's turn on the heart rate data. I'm not sure what went on here. I don't think my heart rate monitor really kicked in until here. First mile wasn't too bad. I felt pretty good. Going to the second mile, I was like, man, this is going really fast. The first mile is a given that I'm gonna go out hot. I mean, that's kind of what I'm known for. I never take it easy in the beginning. I was planning to settle in at like a 6, as I mentioned earlier, like a low 6-minute pace. But I was running with this group, like kind of like the other race. I was like, you know what? I'm not slowing down until my body tells me I have to. So I finished off there's a 5K marker in the race, and I finished it, and I'm like, I'm still going sub 6 minutes, which is fast for me for a 9-mile race. I think my 5K PR is only like 5:45. So for me to run the first third of this 9
15K basically at a PR pace was hot. It was fast. I mean, it was probably too fast. So right around mile 4, as we're coming down this stretch, I'm like, I should really slow down. But as you can see, we enjoyed a nice downhill on this third mile, and honestly, that gave me time to recover. So coming off the fourth mile, I was like, all right, let's keep it going. Let's dial it back just a tad. And I did intentionally here. I did kind of slow my cadence down a little bit, pretty good until the seventh mile. Um, and that's when I was like, uh-oh, like I'm really starting to feel the pace. Uh, right between 7 and 8. Actually, from I think like 7. Yeah, from 7 to 8, I was kind of like regretting going out as fast as I did. There was a group, as I mentioned, I was running with, um, and we were all hurting. I could tell we were all hurting because people were they would dip back and then come back forward. No one was really surging. So I felt that because I was hanging with them, I was like, you know what, let's just kind of finish it strong. So I knew once I hit mile 8, there's only 1 mile left. Mile 8 at 6 minutes flat, and I intentionally dialed it back, thinking, okay, I'm gonna try to push it hard on mile 9. That didn't turn out to be the case. I don't know if it was because of these hills or I was just completely cooked. But mile 9 was the hardest part of the race. It the, that last mile felt like a 10K in itself. Like that mile marker just wouldn't come. Even I finished off with a little bit of a sprint towards the end. Pace wise, looks like I got down to like 5:08, 5:20. So I had some left. I mean, it was a hard effort. Um, I'm making this video the day after. I'm super sore, so uh, but ultimately I'm super happy with the result. All the training, any runner knows, most of your training is by yourself in the dark, doing workouts or long runs. To be rewarded with a really, from my opinion, a really good time is such a great feeling. And I think really only runners or maybe cyclists understand that. So I'm really satisfied with the time. Nutrition strategy. So I that went exactly as planned. I took a gel right before the start. Got to around mile. I think I took my second gel, yeah, right around here. And it took a full half mile to eat it because the gel that I use is kind of thick, and when you're running so hard, you can't really just slurp it up. You kind of have to do it slowly. But I don't know if the gel was the one that gave me, the extra energy towards the end, but I felt good coming in. So the nutrition strategy was kind of spot on. The pacing strategy, completely, I don't even know why I come up with pacing strategy because I never follow it. Like I mentioned in the video, the plan was to go out low sixes, and here, um, my only mile in the low six was mile 6. Everything else was 6 and under. But so what's next? The New York City half marathon is next on my racing calendar in March. My previous PR for half marathon is 6:14. Now that I've done a 15K, which is 4 miles less than a full half at 5:56, I'm gonna aim for like a 6 flat half marathon in March. We'll see how the training goes. I think there's a long way to go. I'm gonna take a little bit of time off, and then do an 8 week build up before the New York City half. The last time I did the half, I did a 16 week, and that's just way too long to do 4 months of really intense training. So I already have a pretty good base. I'm gonna keep on training that base through the winter, and then 8 weeks before the New York City half, I'm gonna start with the workouts and the build up. We'll see how that works. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.